My channel's a geezer channel.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Got a bunch of geezers watching me.
Oh, hey, everybody. I'm just trying to get my volume up. How are you? Happy April Fool's Day. Happy April 1st. How's everybody doing? Can everybody hear me? Nice to see you all. Hi, Ann. Come on in. Hey, Gail. Nice to see you. Nice to see you all. So, yeah, I decided tonight to take a look at something a little bit different. I don't know if we might go pop over to Tim's channel. If you don't know me, I think many of you do, but if you don't, I'm Ray, otherwise known as Life and Vibe. And obviously, don't worry, guys, we'll look at Timmy at some point. I wanted to talk about some boomer rage baiting first. And then obviously I'm a registered nurse, and obviously rage baiting and trying to create content that is going to have people potentially click, or trying to cause intergenerational discord between different generations is something that's just always happened. And I just don't think that trying to blame another generation necessarily, especially Mikey out here in his car. Hit the likes as you come on in, guys, because I really forgot to announce this one today. And as you know, we don't know where Tim went. He did a video, he promised content, and he disappeared. But we'll take a look. We'll pop over. I'm trying to get over to the comments. What am I doing? I don't even know how to work StreamYard today. Hey, Catherine, come on in. You're here, but your patchy presence, that's okay. I doubt I'll have as many active, trolls, because I forgot to even announce this. So people might not even realize I went live. So hit the likes as you come in. And I was going to do a poll asking people what generation they were coming in from. So if you want to drop it just in the chat right this minute, because I was kind of interested, like statistically, I can kind of see it from YouTube anyway, but just just for fun. But if you just want to drop it in the chat, what generation you are representing this evening, that would be fun to find out. Me, I'm Generation X. So we tend to be a very ignored generation, and when people talk about us, we get upset about it. So people, most of the stuff around Generation X says most of the time, why did you include us in any of this intergenerational discord? And don't poke the bear. Just leave us alone. Because that's what they said. You're a boomer? You're boomers? You got a late boomer here. Boomer ST is ghosting us, packing up to go to his daughters for Easter. Potentially. You refuse to be a boomer, but you just squeaked in. I always want to say that they say, is it the last year of being a baby boomer? Was that 1964? So anything like 1965 onwards was Generation X. Like, I'm early Gen X, I guess, because I was born in 1969. What a year. You're millennial. Yeah. He's right about boomers, but he has no room to speak because he subscribes to right. He makes no sense. Baby boomer. Generation Jones here. Well, I was going to put you might be self-identifying as whatever. I'm going to have to do the poll. So when Mikey gets talking, how nice to see you, Miss Vicky. You got 6 years on me. So yeah, you're definitely in the late boomer, and I'm an early Gen Xer. But I was definitely like a Gen Xer. I definitely was living the Gen X dream back in my day. I fully Gen X. You're mid Gen X. Gen X is a very short generation. See, I was going to make sure, but I'm just going to let people self-identify. Everybody's a boomer in your family? My parents were boomers. Of course, my parents were boomers because I'm a Gen Xer, but not all. Some are, silent generations. That's how I know Dimmy's a liar when he says we didn't have fill in the blank back in my day. Generation Jones. Is that a generation? I must be. Oh, I'm gonna have to do the poll. So Mikey has a rant about this though, and I feel like he's kind of late to the party too, of which I am, must be too, because of there was a time back on TikTok and so forth. This was some interesting topics, so I'm always happy to bring in interesting topics that these folks talk about, just as a sort of fun backdrop without necessarily having to really follow people's stories. Because there's that guy, Rusty's an interesting character too. They're all interesting characters. But it's kind of the same, I think, delusion of Mikey that is along with the dating. I think he's also trying to get a bit of the money going for the Dooms content, because he's been letting his audience know very vocally that he no longer wishes to participate in the off-grid living content, that it makes him mad when people ask for him to do water-saving techniques or plumbing or don't ask me, okay? Obviously, I live in an urban area, in an East Coast elite area, as people would think. So I'm like the last person to ask about drainage out on a piece of land somewhere. But Mikey, supposedly that's what his content, and he gets angry now when people ask him for that. Joneses are too young to remember the early boomer years, but old enough to relate to Gen X. Okay. Well, then I like you guys then. I probably have lots of you guys as friends. I probably had quite a few of you as friends. 1959 was your date of birth? Well, I'll take you, but I won't take Timmy. Because Timmy was born in 58, wasn't he? I feel like that with millennials sometimes as well, because I have, Generation X is such a small, cohort. But I found out that it really wasn't millennials that I was hanging out with. It was really the tail end of Generation X, because I think it was like up till 1980 something, I want to say. It was, or maybe it was like 1979 or 80 or something. And I think 80 onwards was when the millennials started coming in. I want to say. You're a boomer, and born in 1962. But would you be a Jones? Is a lame term on a boomer, not a Jen Jones? Definitely not a boomer. See, we got an interesting conversation going here, because there's a lot of connotation around your generation. I think that baby boomers have been getting kind of a tough time. And so I think there's definitely some things that Mikey's going to bring up in this video. And while he's doing that, I'm going to put out a poll to ask people, what generation do they identify as? And I'll add this Generation Jones. How about that? But then I won't know how many people who are actually boomers. So I want to see how people identify generationally. That could be more interesting. I got to think about that. All right, Mikey. I think I put him at a 1.25 because he's a little bit slow. It's just interesting because he's obviously out here in his car. It's always my favorite spot to see my favorite creators and their commentary is out on their vehicles, man. And then we'll pop in to see what Tim up to. It's not been much today. And oh, yes. And I'm just going to address something interesting. I'm not really going to talk about anything else except for the fact that people think he's trying to get free consultations with attorneys. That's why he dressed so nice. It's not going to help him in Florida.
Well, here we go, folks. Boomers, boomers out there, you're going to have to take some of your own advice this time. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps and hang on. This is going to be a wild ride. Men out there, tighten your belts. Ladies, hold your dresses down. It's going to be...
I always love a confident man coming from a car where the roof of this part of the roof is starting to come loose from the top of the vehicle. for that extra savory used car look. Gen X is relaxed. Gen X is the latchkey generation. We were the last of the feral children. Our parents were discovering themselves, and we were out discovering how to try to do stuff without getting in trouble that our parents would find out about. It's 45 to 64 is the boomers. And then I think Gen X is like 65 to 79. I want to say is Generation X. And then I want to say 1980 up to something out. That's right, Ray? Well, thank you. I do need to get back. I know. I mean, it's just interesting because he's going to be getting angry at probably the majority of people who are his audience watching his off-grid living stuff. You know, I don't think this is appealing. I don't think he's appealed to younger people. I'd be curious to know what his demographics and his analytics were but you know, let's let Mikey continue. I don't want to interrupt his argument here. But I don't try to get into this stuff. I'm a silent Gen Xer, man. I just pout in the corner.
Be a wild ride.
65
and I
to
know,
80?
regardless, and I'm going to preface this by saying not all boomers are bad. I love a lot of boomers. In fact, a lot of my friends are boomers. And regardless, though, the fact that I just prefaced that, you'll still see some of them in the comments section. Let me get some water for this one.
Well, that's good. We didn't even get water like that when we were growing up, Mikey. We were drinking out the garden hose, and that was well water. At least it wasn't my grandma's house. Had that particular metallic taste. Probably wasn't good for us to be drinking from. We just knew not to drink the water in the ocean. And we came home when my grandma rang the bell for dinner. And we'd be gone for the rest of the day. We would see the tied in the hair of an adult. And then when we did see an adult, your mum would let you ride on the hood of the car to come down the street in the neighborhood. And nobody called that child abuse.
Let me tell you something. I remember in 1973, and I worked at a factory for 30 years, and my big toe was hanging out of my boots. I couldn't even afford to get new boots, and everybody only knew. I couldn't even afford to.
I don't know why you're laughing, because, like, you know, when you had grandparents and parents who grew up during wars and stuff, they didn't like to spend money on just frivolity, you know? And my grandma had the same car from 1964 right up to her death in 2010. The same car. I mean, at some point she was not driving the car, but it was not that far out, I can tell you. She was still driving around in like 2003, 2004, I want to say. Maybe even a little later than that. It's when she finally started losing her eyesight that I finally said to her, Grandma, you really need to stop driving. And it was true. I said, Grandma, you need to stop driving. You're going to run over somebody. She's like, I know my way to the Food Lion. She seriously told me she knew her way to the Food Lion. I'm not joking. And I said, yeah, but you don't know some little kids running out in the front of the road on your way to the Food Lion, Grandma. She finally stopped driving.
Get new boots, and now you lazy people have your Starbucks and all that. We had 18% interest rates, and you know, I think the hardest part about living in a broken system to become a great trend here very soon. And let me explain why. You're not going to be able to keep people in cities doing internet work or work on computers when they could be at home. They're going to make everybody pay for their own electricity at work now instead. You know, they're going to be paying for their own electricity at home, subsidizing these companies even more. Just to squeeze out a tiny little bit more profit. But the fact is all the younger folks, the working class, and I shouldn't even really say that. I'll get into that in a minute. are going to be forced here very soon in an energy crisis to move out more rural and start growing their own food, simply because when there's an energy crisis, everything goes off of the price of oil. And when fertilizer is being cut off left and right, and oil is getting super expensive, and we are using up our reserves right now in order to kind of balance.
Sorry, I'm starting the poll. Mikey, why are you so depressed? All right, I'm setting out the poll, guys. Mikey, real depressed. Make sure you hit the like so people know. I forgot to announce this one. You still was driving. You could not pay my husband enough money to buy a today car. We have 3 classic cars from the 1970s, 73, 75, and 78. We drive them every day. Well, they probably built better. I've heard, oh my gosh. Maybe we'll pull up that RV thing today. Something fun. I saw the worst thing about these new build construction homes where people are spending all this money and the construction is just horrific. And it just like, people want to say I have an older condo, but at least the time that my condo was built, at least had some standards of building comparatively. So your truck is in car over 20 years. Yeah, my grandma had a 1964 Impala. Chevrolet Impala in like a mint green. Mikey is a downer. He's like, this is all he's doing now. It's this downer content, man. This is his new brand. Now he's like rage baiting like probably half his audience. And I don't know if that works. I know people who rage bait. I promise you.
It's the market, right?
I'm sure people think I
don't
rage
think
bait.
of the fact that these reserves take years and
1920?
years and years to replenish.
1961?
Sometimes they don't even get replenished. We went from 650 million barrels of oil in our reserves several years ago. And then a real old guy in office doesn't even know how to walk off stage. Decided, let's use all that up.
Yeah.
Make it look like I'm doing really good at the gas prices, right? I hear that in the comment section too. But
oh my goodness. What is it about Tim and this guy Mikey that have just obsession about gas prices like that? Like he looked like he need to be worrying about his mileage. I mean, it's like he's got his roof is just coming apart over here. All his windows are open, and he's still filming in here. Like, how are you not hot in the car? I mean, it's like a metal hot box. I mean, is this supposed to make us think that he's an authority? It's not working. I got questions about this, guys. Why? Why are all these people appearing, looking like this in the middle of nowhere? Yet they're supposed to be the voices of authority. I just don't know where their authority is coming from, other than being male, and that's it. I mean, really, this doesn't work. Doesn't have a profession. Doesn't have expertise in anything. He doesn't even like doing the off-grid stuff that he started his channel with. Confusing.
Now we're using our reserves again. We only managed to get up to 420 million barrels. That's being used up. The market is
your
being
car was an
manipulated. Y'all know
87
it.
Chevy Celebrity.
I'll stay out of that one. But here we are on the edge of a cliff for a very severe energy crisis. And people are going to be forced to move out rural where they can grow.
So what has this got to boomers cling to powers world collapses? I think actually most of the sort of villainous sort of techie people are actually probably sadly my generation. I hate to say it. Except for Zuckerberg, I think he's a millennial, isn't he?
Their own food, because that's how crazy it's going to get. There was a guy that I was listening to the other day, former military, was on a podcast, and he was talking about how they use the Carver matrix in order to see what first they look at.
I don't know how the doom and gloom. I don't know if he's just decided that he's seen the number of video views that are, because he started to get into the TikTok videos and doing the commentary on those. So for somebody who probably didn't like commentary channels, he's now making commentary on other people's stuff. Which is why you just have to, it's like the circle of life in YouTube, that's why you got to just like laugh along with these guys. Give me a like for that, guys. Let's give Mikey a round of applause, guys, for actually like coming over to the dark side and becoming a commentator, because that's what he started to do now. Much more of that is like, and look at that, he's like got size issues here. And I guess he's decided that if he's not going to get the money and he doesn't want to, commit to the off-grid lifestyle, maybe because he lost a lot of his, I guess, channel stuff when he got hacked. And you got to be really careful with that sort of stuff, only do things through your email. If they send you a website, just take it. Don't type it in to your browser and look and make sure and take a look at the actual email address, etc. Make sure it's actually all gonna work out. So I don't know. He's attracted to his content. I mean, he's getting well, yeah, we're kind of taking yeah, we are taking a break from Tim. Well, we might pass over and see, but he had a really boring video today. I mean, Tim is, like I said, he looks like he's going on a job interview. I'm being eclectic. That's right. We're here to make commentary. We can talk about all sorts of stuff. I think we have an educated group of interesting people from around the parts of the world and the United States. And there's all sorts of interesting topics that do not need to involve the doomsy gloomsy about this guy. But I'm not a fan of all this, like, necessarily generational blame. I mean, I think that there is some things to be said about how the economy has worked and how things are changing, and sometimes that change is not looking very optimistic for people who are younger. They are having a harder time getting jobs. The housing is absolutely astronomical with the student debt and how much a house. It's really going to be much different standard for these young people to get a start. And these houses are built horrible. But if other people have said in my comment section that maybe there's, opportunity for housing that is much lower cost in other states along the southern parts of the United States, and maybe maybe some of our younger people start to think about moving out there, but they need to have the employment opportunities and still the incomes in order to make it desirable. I don't know if turning everywhere into sort of retirement style communities, or attracting retirees is necessarily what's going to drive in, local stuff. I don't know. I'm just chatting, but I think I have probably more of a view than Mikey has. I don't know. I think he got bored, so he just wants to do TikTok commentary now. And he's got some decent views on his videos. There's something to be said. He's gotten, 4,000 views on some of his doom and gloom videos recently, and then he stopped doing them because I guess you actually have to curate the TikTok videos, and that takes time and effort.
Plan.
You might not like that.
What needs to be done, and then they look at all of the options in order to get there. It's like a military plan, right? And he said, it looks to me like we're getting set up for mass famine. All the right things are happening for mass famine, and all the things that
he still hasn't actually talked about anything that the title says, so I don't know. He's really I mean, oh my gosh. I mean, I'm not one for toxic positivity. I think Tim takes it too far the other way sometimes.
would have anything to do with why they're doing what they're doing isn't what they're doing. I hope that makes sense. Anyways, let me explain this a little further. People are practically living like kings did ages before us. We are able to eat food from all around the world. We don't have to, we can live in giant groups, which are called cities, because we are able to import all of the food into these cities.
We've had cities for since the dawn of man, it seems, in some form or another. I mean, without having to export food. I mean, if you look at some of the previous civilizations in Latin America through the Aztecs and the Olmecs, and take a look at the down in oh gosh, I only know the ones in Mexico. But if you get down to Machu Picchu or somewhere, or the Machu Picchu, sorry, not Machu Picchu, Machu Picchu in Peru, the Incas. Good Lord, Ray. Oh, I'm getting as dumb as these guys now watching their content.
And because of the cheap oil, the mass transportation going on, the world market, right?
Well, I have a terrible laugh.
When that dries up and it's on its way, no matter who's saying what about what and how.
And that's how we do things, Thomas, as adults, that we understand that life isn't all rainbows and unicorns, and it can be very dramatic. And as adults, we face those challenges and we deal with them, which is, I completely agree with that. It's about how you manage to react to things, I guess. And I feel like Mikey's reaction to whatever he had going on in life is him buying this piece. This off-gridding, R2D2. I don't know. I said something about Machu Picchu. But I am fond of R2D2. You think something happened to Mikey a few back when he was so sick he hasn't been the same? I mean, tell you, an illness will take it out of you. I mean, him living like that and having had an illness before in the past. I mean, I've talked about this not being safe. I mean,
ridiculously optimistic they are.
But I don't know if he's trying to rage bait for money.
Which can be annoying at times. Some people just, they can't see the writing on the wall. You could say that the sky is blue and they'll look, oh, it looks kind of light blue to me. I don't think so. Just ridiculously optimistic. We're playing some 5D chess is going on right now. Blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
But meanwhile, the cost of living keeps going up and up and up and up.
I said Machu Picchu, which is out on the Eastern Shore. And then I got to Machu Picchu. I'm obviously on a roll today. I finally got to the Incas, the Lord of my life. Up
and up. Saw a gal on video the other day. Her mortgage payment went from $1,800 and like $1,842.
Where we go? Let's talk about someone's mortgage payment. Yes, I have to say this for Thomas. I feel like somebody supposedly emailed him and let him know they thought he had major depression disorder, which, having studied psychiatry and trying to become a nurse practitioner in that area, very expensive time and money. The diagnosis needs to be made with a physical assessment. Now, I don't know from a psychologist, because I think they were a clinical psychologist, so I don't know what their standards of diagnostic diagnosing a patient is. I know from my perspective, I would not be able to treat or diagnose anybody. But I mean, you potentially could see traits of major depressive disorder, potentially. I don't know, because I don't know how much sometimes with these folks on YouTube, it's just an act to get money, because he's just doom scrolling. Dipping out. Well, thank you, Catherine, for being here. I appreciate it, girl. But I think being isolated in this type of situation alone and just talking into a camera, I'm thinking that could be over, unless he still gets up with people. But if he's on his own like this a lot of the time, that has got to be detrimental to your mental health. I mean, I even noticed like on days when it's got kind of gloomy weather and I've been kind of stuck in the condo more with the dogs just for a day, and I haven't even like gotten out just to get to the store or do stuff. Because I have to say, after the pandemic, my social life was never the same. Like I had a very active social life up to that point, very active. And I have just like a handful of friends now, not even that. Like it was funny just, and a lot of my friends' children got older too, like to an age where they were like in sports and and so they just like everybody who, the socialization that didn't involve children was different than it had been when I was younger. And their kids have been younger. So, I don't know. I think this could be detrimental to his mental health, being so isolated. I don't think that's healthy.
It's up to $2,481. She calls up her mortgage company. Mortgage company says, we don't have nothing to do with it. That's your insurance company. Went from $3,000 to $6,000. And this is going to happen to everybody. My point here is, with the boomers, you can't give these guys any criticism whatsoever. But if you want to get to the truth, you have to be able to say what's going on here. And I'm not going to touch too much on this because I want to be careful, But when you grow up in a system where it's not absolutely flooded with immigrants.
I know it's been very strange since that. I know other people have started to travel a little bit more, but I've just been, I don't know. I got a little bit, just kind of more at home and stuff. And people just got, I think, a little bit more that way, a little bit more introverted too over the time. And I've sort of changed like how I work too. As in, having worked really long hours in healthcare and crazy shift schedules and just a lot of stuff like that going on over the years. And I traveled for a bit too, kind of, just losing touch with people over the years and stuff. And just, it's funny because I used to, like I said, I had a super active social life, super active. I would be at people like at friends at these houses with 20-30 people for Labor Day, staying at a big beach house in Sandbridge, and just hanging out all weekend, friends and kids, and just parties and pools and beaches and food, and just hanging constant. And then suddenly it just like, boom, just disappeared. And then I saw people a little bit during the pandemic. Like we had a little bit of a birthday bash for me. And not even now, I don't even like really get out like that for my birthday anymore. Just like, I don't know if after I got sick too for a while, I kind of ran out of energy. So I can feel Mikey on that one. All right, keep going, Mikey.
Sucking and feeding off the system. And then later on decide, well, maybe diversity is our strength in all this stuff, right? And then so they allow themselves.
Oh, yeah. Those cruise liners, they all... I know, we were talking about the cruises yesterday, and I said I want to go on a cruise, but then I think about it being a hotbed of disease. My dad, actually, my stepfather, I should say, he had worked before he retired as the harbour master for the port of Southampton in the UK. And that is actually because he had worked as a harbour master in the military, and then he was a harbour master civilian ports, private ports. And one of the things, obviously, they got to, they were gifted cruises and stuff because of my dad's work. But one of the jobs that my dad was trying to persuade me to take was as a cruise line RN. He was like, he said it paid very well and I could go around the world and have a great time and this, that, and the other. And he always came up with some very interesting job recommendations. The difficulty for me is I tend to like to be home with my dogs. And so none of these jobs are things that I can take my dogs. When I traveled as an RN, actually, I could take my dogs with me. But obviously I had to pay for apartments. And I bet now trying to rent an apartment is probably astronomical too. So
they allow for a country to be flooded.
Floating petri dish.
Just absolutely flooded by.
Yes, I hope your family gets better soon. That's floating petri dish. So, but that was one of the. I think at this point I'd be like too scared. Be like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get ill all the time. Sorry, I'm drinking my fizzy water while it's still cold. Keep going, Mikey.
Maybe what they consider their next slave class. I don't know. Most people are in slave class now. Is what it really is.
Oh God.
So here we are.
Why? Can we have information? What are we learning from this? This is what I just want to know when people are popping content out on their channels. Now we're going to get to the doom and gloom scroll because, people like to look at the gloomy stuff. So there is a market for it. I'm trying to curious. I was trying to look a little bit more into studies around the psychology around people. Because I even have moments where I'm like, and I don't know if it's like Mikey trying to see if people are still doing worse than he is. Because it's, I always potentially think like, are you trying to check these things out just to make sure somebody else has it worse than you? Or is somebody making it worse for you? Or like, I'm always curious, I don't want to be, like I say, like talking about Tim's going to open for Trump's speech tonight. Is that why he's dressed up? He got upset with politics the other day.
They grew up not surrounded, but and not to mention the systems, the justice systems, right? Where
that's good to know.
People are being let out after committing crime,
Take me next time.
after crime, after crime, after crime, and they're still let out.
If anyone needs a Spanish translator, I'm able to go with 2 dogs that tore up one of my chairs today. Very upset. I'm really not happy.
Oh, because of diversity is our strength, and then we got all this DEI stuff going on.
What is he talking about?
Who's been in power? I'll tell you who's been in power. We have a system right now where there's 90-year-olds.
I don't think they would be boomers, though. If they're 90, isn't that the silent generation? Does he even understand which generations? This is like, he's so depressing. And so ignore the content. It's more the fact that people feel comfortable putting out this type of content. From his off-grid living channel, let me show you how you're going to be self-sufficient to, oh my gosh, I'm out here off-grid living, and now I've turned into Mr. Doomsday. I don't know if that's promoting your brand. I think it's not good for you mentally to be this isolated. And I don't think blaming another generation for whatever you don't have going on in your life, sir, is going to be working. Because I think you're an old enough generation, Mikey, that you're not in the situation that maybe some of these younger people are, where literally AI are taking entry-level jobs. Well, they are saying that the graduating and the getting hired, there are statistics to say they aren't getting hired in the same numbers. There aren't the same opportunities, especially if they had been ones that had, started their careers and college thinking that there were these, lucrative tech jobs available. You can't blame them for wanting to do it. And then they come out and the game has changed and there's a different, and they're not, ready for that, I used to be a school teacher, so I have empathy for young folk. And,
there's 90-year-olds in our government halls clinging on to power. In fact, I believe that we have in the Congress and Senate, we have 24 people in the Congress and Senate who are.
It is kind of a hate speech. It really is. Mikey, I don't know why he's trying to alienate his audience. I agree with everybody, but I don't want to try to alienate everyone either.
Above the age of 80, just clinging on to power. And all these folks seem to be.
Thank you.
Like there's a sale going on the United States.
Yeah, I think that, unless you're one of these channels of, and I don't know if that's why he's trying to move into the commentary space. I think with commentary, you have more opportunity to have a interesting time on a platform like YouTube. It's one of the reasons why, I like to comment on stuff. Why not? My friends will tell you that. I've always been that way. Have a thought about something, and I obviously have an area that I work in professionally. So when it comes to anything medical or people talking around their medications or strokes or heart disease or, I have experience and can have fun with an audience chatting about these topics. And I'm happy to share my knowledge. I know many in the chat and who watch are also medical professionals with probably more years in the industry and probably even higher credentials than mine. And I love that. I love attracting and everybody else who has different professions and different ages. And a lot of my audience isn't, pretty much around my age, but I do get some millennials in here, as we saw tonight. So, I know we're probably not getting up to, Fred's generation. But is Fred a boomer, or would Fred be silent generation? Because he's 80 some years old. I don't know. I think I don't know why. But thank you, the real Melvis, for being a member for 2 months. Yeah. And I think he does need to get something. I think a lot of these guys, and Timmy too. Timmy's not been working for a long time. I know he says YouTube's his side hustle, but his content is just regurgitating. The more I hear, it's like, oh, he copied this from this guy, and he copied it from this guy, and he copied it from that guy, And obviously I make commentary around people's content, but what I say is my own.
Right?
All right, keep
There's just a sale going on there.
You're going to kill my audience.
Looting it. Yeah, they're looting the United States for every dime before they have to retire and all that. And then some of the boomers in the comment section will say, well, I had nothing to do with that. But where all these boomers were lining the city halls, for the last 30, 40 years. And whenever they had a vote on new regulations that would make it more expensive for homeowners later on, new regulations and all these things that make it more expensive for homeowners later.
And what policies were you trying to help enact, Mikey? What activism have you had? At least I know, I'm not going to put all my stuff out there, but I know this girl's been active in her politics outside of, I don't do it on YouTube because that's not what I do. But in my personal life, absolutely.
On just to keep their neighborhood, the people that they didn't want out of their neighborhoods.
He would be the silent generation.
It seems to me that a lot of them had a lot to do with our current.
That's what I thought. Fred's the silent generation. And he's probably not watching my, even Tim. So Mikey's all mad at any of you boomers out there. The reason why Mikey is not having a good time in life is because you guys have made it suck for him. It's because he has no responsibility in any of his political activism. He just gets to sit and be angry in a car. Kind of like the MO of people. Are we going to get tired of angry car people in 2026? Can we nix the angry car guys? Are we not tired of angry car men?
We're sending money everywhere. Our infrastructure is absolute crap. I mean, crap. Our roads are falling apart. Our airports are crap.
I don't know. They just fixed up the road right by my house and fixed up a nice park right by me with 4 dedicated dog park areas and real nice. And when they opened it up to the public, the city came out and they had a whole thing where they were giving the dogs little bandanas and dog toys and all sorts of stuff to promote the dog park. The other day, I got to go to a free luncheon that was hosted at this business development center in the city called The Hive. And the marketing guy, I was there obviously talking about my Life and Vibe channel. They have grants from the city and I can get a free consult with this guy who's a marketing expert. He does it because obviously he has a contract with the city to do that. So, and they have all these events and they had free pizza there and all sorts of fun stuff. It was really nice. You know, there's all sorts of fun stuff. What are you talking about, Mikey? He's so depressed. I mean, I found this whole thing that was that the city of Virginia Beach does to help with entrepreneurs and stuff. And talking about DEI and stuff, Mikey, come on.
We've got so much fraud going on. And what? Nothing. Just getting nickeled and dimed. But you people are so lazy. You got your Starbucks. I had to walk to school with no shoes on. Uphill both ways.
I think that's pretty good.
It is a fact that
Oh
the cost
yeah,
of
there's
living,
always trades. I mean, that could help Mikey learn some stuff to do his off-grid living. Shoot, I know I have a trade. I have a trade as a healthcare professional. Obviously, if there's any type of medical emergency or some situation where, I know I would be able to spring into action. Let's put it this way. I've worked emergency tents for like running races and all sorts of other stuff. I mean, I'm not an emergency room nurse, but I can certainly deal with the medical. I literally worked at a cardiac hospital and what was considered like the cardiac emergency room for 2 years. So I just didn't do like the other type of emergencies, but I did the heart attacks and that stuff.
has gone way up. It's a simple fact, even though a lot of people, especially from a certain generation, want to deny it. It used to go from an average age of the first home buyers, you were about 24 years old. Now you're well into your 40s, and they still can't even afford it into their 40s. It used to be that a janitor could pay for a family and support a family. Now 2 incomes can't even do it. Especially
I'm not going to deny that the economy is rough at the moment. I'm not going to deny that. We have all probably noticed that exponentially prices have gone up. Like, yes, it does benefit to see housing prices rise if you own a home, because if you own one, you're like, oh, good, my prices go up too. But then you're like, oh, shoot, now my property taxes just went up along with it. And my insurance probably. So we kind of like, whoa. But you put that in escrow, Mikey. Oh my goodness. Yes. And I don't think you're of a generation where you're a little bit younger, but I think you were still of a generation where a lot of people still were purchasing homes. I don't think you're like an alpha or a Gen Z who are really seeing like $600,000 paper mache D.R. Horton homes being made. I mean, I bought a home, Mikey, and I was making $27,000 a year and bought this condo. Okay. Did I have to sacrifice and have a roommate? Absolutely. But that's what you do. If you care about something, if you don't want to, he really does complain.
Especially if you want to have a bunch of kids. It just goes on and on and on. But I remember in 1970, you people are just being lazy. I'm just so tired of the gaslighting. Oh my gosh.
Mikey's sad because Mikey's no longer making easy money on YouTube for being a nomad, off-grid liver guy. Because there was a time, I guess, when he had a very big channel and he had it hacked into. And I think his channel went down from there. And I think some people say he got sick and just, I guess, there's other people, lots of competition. There's more and more people entering into the space. Potentially his offers of doing brand deals started to dry up because, to be honest, this isn't potentially the type of image that a company wants to align itself with. I mean, initially back when the time when people had just, more access to time off and potentially money through the pandemic financing. Timmy had money. They were offering it more. I'm sure he's seen his YouTube earnings dry up. And I think a lot of these nomad guys, unless you have a really big channel like Nomadic Fanatic or Camper Van Kevin or some of these other folks who have, very large channels and have, much bigger brand deals and so forth. This guy, I don't think has had any deals lately. And so all his like Facebook flipping, wasn't he a Facebook flipper too on his products? Or was that just Nomadic Fanatic and Tim?
As if these people are some Gen X, more millennial, and Gen Z, as if they are just saying stuff, just making it up, just because they want to make stuff up.
Oh, I'm sure you have to turn people away for handyman work. This guy doesn't want to do any work. He's already said that. He's upset if people ask him about doing things on his property because he doesn't really want to do it. I think they just want easy. If you tasted some easy money I guess when it comes in with YouTube and you suddenly get a video that goes big or you get donations, I mean, he supposedly shuts his live videos down if he doesn't think he's getting enough donations. I mean, or he's not getting a donation. That's wild. I mean, that's going to kill your channel.
They're just spoiled. I could tell you about being spoiled, about a generation of spoiled. What happened? What happened to our system where now we can't have a relationship? Nothing. The feminism is out of control. All of this stuff was fruited from what generation?
And I don't know how much of this is rage bait, because this is what these guys do out here too on the internet. They love to be like a rage baiter. So he could be hoping that he's going to get a lot of boomers having clicked into this video to get some rage bait going, and it didn't work. Like, he got a couple of thousand views, and he's got 4,000 on some of his more doomy scroll TikTok ones. So his other ones, if he actually persisted in doing the TikTok, I think you have to do those ones and keep doing it and doing it and doing it. But there's, you can see that there are creators that are doing that type of content. They probably are putting it under financial, making very good RPM because of it, and getting a couple of 100,000 plus views a day on just that one video. And then obviously the other videos are getting views, and maybe they put up a second channel and so forth. There's a young man who does that, but he also says, I know he works really hard. He looks pale as anything. He has been doing YouTube for 16 years. So a lot of times these people have been trying different channels, doing different things, consistently posting, and then they finally get that time where they hit something like making commentary around TikTok videos, around people's finances or credit card debt. There's a bunch of those channels now. And Mikey is trying to get in on that too. So he's definitely somebody who I feel tries to capture whatever he feels is going to be the trend. Now, I even did some responding to those TikToks, because obviously I was a commentary channel. And so I've done some too. Obviously, they don't get a ton of views because it's not something I do regularly. They did okay. But obviously he has to, and I've thought about doing some more too, as videos for the channel, because there's some interesting things. Like, there was one specifically around people in TikToks and doing things around retirement that were really shady.
We're going to sit and gaslight you all day long on top of it. Right? Climbing up the ladder and then pulling the ladder up right behind yourselves. Not all. I have to always repeat, not all. Because I'm going to get some lecture. I used to do that at 3 in the morning. People. In fact, the system's gotten so bad that even a lot of the boomers are having problems these days. They can hardly retire. And some of them should have retired a long time ago. These people in power, just clinging on to power. And
well, I mean, there is something to be said around term limits to political offices. I know here in the state of Virginia, or Commonwealth, I should say, we only allow the governor to be one time and for 6 years in order to stop the same person, kind of having that. Even in places like, well, they had the same political party, but for example, in Mexico, you could only be president once and for 6 years. And that was trying to stop people from having long dictatorial rules, because before that, there had been a president for an extremely long time in Mexico. So there are ways to limit terms. Other people like the idea of people being longer in their positions because they get to know people. They get to know the processes. So people don't want people just coming in and out. So, I mean, it's said to be on both sides of the argument. Oh, there's certain politicians who I've said, my gosh, why haven't they retired on both sides of the aisles? Absolutely. When they were having to wheel poor Dianne Feinstein out in a wheelchair, and I mean, at that point, you're just like, how, or if somebody, I mean, I should seriously consider, if you're 76 years old and you're potentially wanting to run for another 6 years in office and your campaign's 4 years out, it's probably not a good plan. The stress of having to have that position is going to be too much probably for most folk. You're not going to want to deal with it. I do find it surprising sometimes. But then again, I've seen some really old attorneys and all sorts of folks. So it's just, who knows? But I think, we all understand there's a time when we should all step down gracefully. There's some people who are doing concerts who should be doing that too, Mikey.
So homesteading is going to become a trend here very soon. And I'm getting out right before it becomes a trend. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of videos talking about how you can buy land and how to go to the bathroom or compost. You know what I mean? It's stuff that people should be able to figure out, to be honest with you. I mean, if you can't figure the stuff out, you might. I mean, it's going to come to the point where it's survival of the fittest at some point, right? If you can't figure out how to go to the bathroom or take a shower off grid, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, that's pretty stinking pathetic, especially if you're older.
I mean, isn't that what your whole channel's about? Off-grid living, cheap off-grid living, Mike is the name of your channel. Cheap off-grid living, Mike. And you don't want to talk about how to do things off-grid. And if somebody doesn't know how to do it, there's something wrong with them. I can't with these creators sometimes. What do you want your audience to do for you, sir? How is this an issue for? I still haven't figured out, why is this the boomers' problem? Why is anything that you have complained about in this video the problem stemming from baby boomers? Okay, keep going.
I don't know how to take a shower unless I can just turn a knob and hot water comes out. Well, then you're kind of you're screwed. Or you don't know how to change the oil in your vehicle. Yeah, a lot of, since I've laid on the boomers so much, I'm going to lay on some Gen Z and stuff here. What? Not so much millennials or Gen X, but some Gen Z. I overheard.
Well, he knows better not to mess with Gen X. That's just a suicide mission.
Somebody having a conversation that they know a whole bunch of Gen Z men who can't even do one push-up.
What are you talking?
One push-up. I'm in my mid-40s and I can still do one-handed push-ups. One-handed.
Mid-40s. So I guess that makes him a millennial. Wouldn't that make him a millennial? Or is he on the very end of Gen X? He says he's mid-40s. God, Ray, where's your math? I guess he puts him right at the touch of the millennial. So he's like on that cusp of Gen X millennial. That's why he didn't want to give any hassle to those generations. Because that's where Mikey sits. Of course not. Why did you say anything about the generation you identify with? And now you're going to give it to these young guys? What, they supposed to be doing free labor on your land? Why do you care how many push-ups these kids can do? Oh my goodness. What are you contributing to society? That's what I want to know. How can you complain about other people in society when your apparent contribution to society looks so little?
Everything is just going so bad, and you feel like you're yelling into the wind. It's just, and there's somebody always being optimistic. There's nothing to be optimistic about.
He's a
How many minutes
millennial.
am I at?
Oh my God.
There are a few things to be optimistic about. I mean, we are technically.
Yeah.
You look at that comment.
Yeah, exactly. If they don't get to Mikey's level, the younger generation, then we know we're absolutely we're screwed.
Section. Actually, they probably won't do it this time. No, there'll still be a few boomers that can't even listen to anything for over 5 minutes, or the second there's some criticism. Oh, I'm not listening to that.
I don't know. They're listening to your nonsense with me at the moment, Mikey, and We're all, and I'm Gen X, and I'm sitting here flabbergasted as to what the rage bait going on here, sir. And how is this going to help your channel? Just, you need to get out of isolation, sir. It's not healthy.
I used to get up at 1:31 in the morning, no shoes on. My nipples were hanging out of my shirt because they were cut up so much from all the hard work I was doing.
I know, another one with the push-ups going. What is it about the push-ups? Look at this guy's off on a tangent. He's really trying to get some rage bait. It's none of what he talked about any of this. I mean, if you were talking about Mitch McConnell, I thought he was a silent generation. I think he finally retired.
I don't know how they stress themselves out so much.
What are you talking about?
All right, boomers out there that are still listening.
Is that how boomers act? I know lots of boomers. I mean, my parents, I don't ever remember my parents quite being like that. Do you know anybody who acts the way that Mikey has described in this video? He's mad at somebody. Is he mad at his parents? Is this your anger and aggression towards your parents being taken out? Or is this just a rage bait? Because the rage bait didn't work either, Mikey.
Thank you. Sometimes you got to get stuff out. I don't hate boomers. I hate the ones that you can't give any. I don't hate anybody. But I find myself disliking when people can't take any criticism whatsoever. If it's smart criticism. If it's stupid criticism, then forget it. Then they're just, I'm talking myself into a
I guess somebody told him he needed to get a job or something, and they're obviously older, and that was offensive. Because the nomad market is saturated, Mikey. And I mean, maybe his doom and gloom will get up, but he hasn't posted a video for a few days. So his videos weren't doing that bad on it. You have to be consistent, though. I mean, you were doing pretty good. You could get up there. There's plenty of people who would identify with you and your doom and gloom, Mikey. There's lots of people who watch that stuff on YouTube. Believe it or not. So you can keep doing that. Just have to be consistent. If that's all you want to do and talk about, I don't know if it's going to be mentally good for you to do that, though. I just want to say, you're going to have to be like, if you're going to talk about those types of topics, you yourself are going to have to try not to get personally affected within those topics, because those are deep topics and you don't seem to have the mental agility to want to be able to speak about those things and not let it affect you unless this is all an act.
Itch here. Thank you so much for watching. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Folks, come on, give this video a thumbs up. Put your agreements and your disagreements in the comment section below and reply to others, folks. You know, if you see a comment you disagree with, let them know. You know, have some conversations. And yeah, give this video a thumbs up. I'm serious.
All right. He's begging for his thumbs up. And again, he's got people are melting down and completely burnt out. It's worse. This is another one. He's got 3 good-looking women on here. Look who he's chosen on these thumbnails. Mikey's chosen like 3 half decent women looking up there on those thumbnails, guys. But that's his content lately. It's just like, but this one he got 2.7 thousand. He got into Chat GTP for decades. Boomers have held on to power, shaping stuff. Unless he got into because you can get these. That's why I stole my idea today when I was at work. He probably clicked into the inspirational section of his YouTube studio if he's on a laptop at all. And it probably broke out for this. Oh, you can email him. Don't do that. He's going to try to get into a parasocial relationship with you. Okay. Somebody agreed with that. Don't eat fast food. But he got, did decently, I guess. There's other content. He's getting subscribers. I mean, Mikey, he needs to be less. I mean, you need to take the wins that you get. But I don't know if these types of videos, if he's are going to win his, he's not going to necessarily get brand deals on those videos necessarily. But he's getting almost 4,000 views. I mean, he's making money. Maybe, I don't know what his rate is. I don't know if he goes under, maybe under finance. That's what a lot of these people try to put their content under, financial, because that pays a higher level of advertising dollar so that he gets $7, $8, 1,000 views. You know, you might get 30, you know, $20, $30, $20 a video or something, maybe at the most, if he got it under the right category. So I mean, you know, it may work for him. I'm curious. What do you think, guys? Do you think this type of doom and gloom content is going to work? You bet well, you know, he's looking for that. He's looking for a special somebody on the dating sites. How are we doing with our poll? Oh, let me see what we got over here. I have 54% baby boomers, 16% Generation Jones, 27% Gen X, and 4% millennial. And I hope I didn't leave anybody out. I don't really get much other. I looked at my statistics, and that's pretty much covers my age groups. And I'm not going to be mean. All right, let's just pop over and see what Tim got up to, and then we'll call it a night, guys. This is just a quick live. Just wanted to catch up, say hi. Tim has disappeared, guys. Tim has disappeared. All we got from Tim today was a morning chat from Marina Jax, and it was not very exciting. Hold on, Tim. Hey, Tim, I don't even have you sped up. This is a surprise react that people were not expecting. This is all we saw. Tim is in a new shirt. This is potentially one of his new Walmart buys, because remember, he bought a bunch of stuff from Walmart. I think he's trying to look like he's a professional. I think the looming dates, and we are in the month of now. Away. Maybe Tim is trying to get his wardrobe together, or maybe like but this is maybe like butter couldn't melt in my mouth. I'm a professional. I'm a businessman. You need to take me seriously.
Minnesota Tim, coming to you from beautiful Marina Jax.
Boring.
A little different thing for me this morning. I left before the sun came up. I've been out riding around. I went and had some breakfast at McDonald's, got some coffee. Wasn't able to put the camera on because you couldn't see me in the truck.
Yes, I know exactly the channel that you're talking about. But the difference is that I guess he actually includes, he's very good at memorizing the information, but I think sometimes he has it written down on paper so he can get his statistics correct, because I've seen the channel. And he walks around a lot of different places too. So he does this. So he definitely started that sort of walking around and sharing all this doomy, gloomy news and stuff. Yeah, it's kind of red pilly stuff in some ways. Definitely these guys that, but in reality, their stuff isn't doom and gloom. They're making a lot of money off of getting other people to click into the doom and gloom. Because I promise you, their channels, when you see their view counts and probably them putting themselves under finance and stuff, you realize these people are making very good money. That's all he has to do for a living. And he used to work in real estate. And I guess he's got probably some properties or something, but I don't think he has to worry about the real estate as much anymore. And that's what Tim hoped for his channel. Tim wanted to continue to be one of these guys. But, Tim, unfortunately, doesn't really have an interest in the topics. So he wanes off of them, which is why he wanted to go off and do the dirt bike stuff. And when you start, I think, just getting your channel going, I'm here, I'm over here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm over there, I'm over there, then you're not going to have authenticity with your audience. I've always made commentary about different people that I think are absolute charlatans on the internet. That's always been my thing. And they'll talk about health stuff too. Always they're going to mention something about health, and it's usually bad advice. And so that's usually another reason why I find these characters interesting.
Got up really early. I had some coffee at home, and I said, I'm going to get those 10,000 steps in. This is day number 3 of accomplishing that goal. And it's not too bad. You get out and you get started. Get in, 7,000 anyway on your first leg, and you got easy.
I would agree, and there was a doctor that I watch, and he has, walking is great exercise. Don't get me wrong. Difficulty is Tim's not really understanding. He won't be able to explain the science behind walking and the cardiovascular health. He's not going to explain, that potentially the 10,000 steps was just a sort of an arbitrary number that was kind of chosen. Because not everybody's 10,000 steps look the same in distance. But obviously I wouldn't say necessarily setting steps per se as much as setting the number of miles you want to accomplish in the day. Like I said, because his 10,000 steps could be much shorter or longer than somebody else's. So I feel like it was an arbitrary number that was selected, from what I understand. There was no real scientific research behind the selection of 10,000 steps. So, from what I understand.
Yeah, easy going after that. So I was walking over here. You can see the marina. I'm sucking on a mint. The marina over here has got all the charter boats getting ready to go out, and all the people are lined up out here on the deck. On the dock.
Oh, I know. Yes, this guy Edward, PhD, Mr. Doom, LOL. Yes, yeah, I know. He got a little bit depressing for me too, and sometimes I just don't necessarily want to be, I think I told him off once or twice in this chat. Like, you need to stop blaming regular people for every problem. Like Mikey going off about boomers or whatever. And yes, there's a lot of things that our politicians do, and they're all different generations that are not beneficial for the population as a whole, probably because of certain industries who are persuading them that they're the more important thing. And yes, we all know there's some dodgy stuff going on all over the place. Pepper Princess. It's kind of an ideal situation with Orange Lemon and Teresa. She's an interesting character too. That's like some of the things that she eats and stuff. I'm like, being like that frugal, but to the point where the food doesn't look actually healthy and stuff. That's concerning for me. I always think of like the one thing that you should try to at least, it doesn't have to be organic or expensive, but eating good whole foods, as your diet, and, good fruits and vegetables is really important. And, good sleep hygiene, which I'm terrible at because I fall asleep on the couch all the time. But sleeping, having good sleep, I'm going to try to be good tonight. Good sleep hygiene. There's lots of different things. But yeah, all of these people, and you've mentioned a lot of these folks, they're all dooms and gloomser. And there's money to be made. That's why, with the news and stuff. But people like it with people's commentary. It's kind of like getting news. It's like getting an editorial page, if you may, where people are adding their commentary to the matter at hand. And a lot of people like it when people are able to curate different news articles and stories and present them and give a good opinion around that. But I did say to him, hey, you need to give, because he'd always be like, oh, these people are poor, these people are broke. I used to say, hey, you need to be a little bit fair on people because, a lot of things are, expensive, and, not everything is due to, everybody's poor money management. A lot of the people's electric bills are going up like wildly at the moment. And that's nothing driven to do with their electrical usage or them suddenly getting all wild or something, wild. Tim's nothing but a pig. Okay.
And the guys on the intercom talking about sign your waivers, give us your money. get
Oh,
on.
yeah.
And looks like all the people are already on the boat because
Yeah, Tim's been very rude about his community lately. I don't know if somebody said something to him inside the community that has made him, or it's not really the RV park, but like the surrounding area, I want to say that he's very rude about. And he does say some really negative things that don't sit well with me when he says them. It's rude.
they were standing out here.
You
but the
know
boat
he's a
hasn't left yet.
wannabe.
And
You
I
don't know
how
much
far they
about
go out. I
Mikey.
know over in West
Oh,
Palm,
he's just
you can just
another
get on one of
negative
these
Nelly.
drift boats. You can see the people here when we get up here.
We were just talking about the fact of all these different people, like Mikey had a channel doing one thing and now he's trying to pivot into the doom and gloom. You know, Tim's Mr. Toxic Positivity at all times, of course, but Tim's like the opposite way. But, you know, Mikey is like getting into this, like the doom stuff, which there's a lot of people, you know, and we were just talking about how that can be a profitable niche on YouTube. You just have to stay consistent. I think if you're a female creator, there's ones that do it too, that do talk about it. They do very well. And I can see why. I'm surprised Tim hasn't popped out with that commentary yet.
Up on the bow there.
I think this is
Of
the
the
only video today.
Flying fish charter boat right there.
Generation Joe.
Roll on. How you doing? People waving to me.
Make sure you
They got
answer
full
the
load.
poll,
I don't know
Connie.
how far they go out. In West Palm, they go out the inlet, and next thing you know, they're like, all right, drop your lines. But here, I keep hearing about how far people have to go to get into deep water out here. Anyway, we're going to walk around O'Leary's up here in Bayfront Park. I was going to cross the bridge. But this is something I did yesterday to finish up my 10,000 steps. And it's just real pretty.
I mean, when you're watching content, I mean, this is just something, and I'm going to put that out just for you.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Yeah, he does. When you're I mean, I used to go out and do my steps with Junebug. He's so stupid. He's so funny. 3 times, please. I mean, Tim is like the end of the boomer generation. So he's the person that Mikey's raging about out here in his shirt. This is the antithesis of Mikey. This is why this is so good. Has to walk by his truck and look back. Well, somebody might be trying to get one of his pew-pews out of there. You got to double check it's been locked. Or somebody's not messing with it. That taxpayer asset.
And there's facilities here if you got to use them. Where if you walk the bridge, there's nothing. They have nothing over at Bird Key side. They got nothing on this side unless you're walking around over here around the marina. And hey, some people, they need that. So yeah.
Mikey pre-sold a book for 8 months, which was never written. How can you pre-sell a book that's not written? I mean, at least if it was on pre-sale, at least the book is like pretty much like in the editing phase. I would have thought, like, it's being sent to the printer. These guys are just, I mean, people can say my channel's a grift too.
Here we are, Sarasota's Bayfront Park at Marina Jack's, the restaurant.
Oh, you did.
Is right down here.
You're all good.
And all the boats. Some of the boats are over here. Then you have a lot more of them that are parked over here on this side here. Morning. That's where all the big yachts are. And then over here is where they have that that statue too, the Never Surrender. So people will be showing up. It's going to be 84 today. That means 90. And the Freedom Boat Club, all these boats right here, these are all rentals that
You're so bad, Tar Heels. Hey, here we go. Tim just this is the one video that we got today. I wonder what else is down in that Marina Jack's area that Tim would be wanting to be down there for, dressed up like this early in the morning. Because he said he was up early and that he couldn't film because he was up so early.
it's a membership though. It's not just a rental. You got to sign a contract to pay every month and be part of this deal. And because of the area we're in here in Sarasota and the people when they
why is anybody interested about this like membership to a thing? Why are you telling us this? Can we get some discernment on content, please? Both of these guys is talking to talk
show up
to make money.
that live in these condos and stuff,
Just
they
like
get plenty
me.
of money. It's probably a very expensive
Like
program.
it is a scam.
I don't think it's
yes. That's why he's
worth
been
it to
added
me.
to the list.
But if you were, say, a one-time boat renter, you come down, you're like, hey,
Shoot, if I'd known Mikey was out doing shenanigans like pre-selling books and stuff and all that, I mean, shit, that's why I'm circling around. That guy's circling out the drain, but he's definitely one to watch on the channel, on the platform. I would like to find some others. There's plenty. I know they're all. I mean, there's some ones that people have never heard of, like gamers and stuff that are absolutely wild. There's all sorts of interesting. I'm an interesting character, I guess. I just do
let's
commentary.
rent us a pontoon boat. Let's rent us a boat.
I'll show my
You're better off. We got a couple places over here that do a one
yeah,
off.
parking is fascinating.
Oh, we got the
isn't
weed,
it?
the blower over here. Great. But you can see how many there are. They're just these relatively small craft.
How dare they? How dare they do lawn maintenance when the great Sarasota Tim out here trying to film his video for the day? Oh, those prison workers interrupt the great Sarasota Tim from his filming commitments that he has. The audacity.
And then they also have a pontoon boats up here. Nothing more annoying than a blower. So you have these right here. And even though they don't look as sporty, they're actually more fun to be on. They're stable. You can get up and walk around, go up to a sandbar or something, fish off of it, whatever you want to do. They're just really cool. That's what I rented once before, a couple times when some friends came down. We had a pretty good time on it. And believe me, we wanted to bring it back before the time was up. They give you so much time. And we had our fill long before. I'm going to pause this.
I can believe it. So the thing is, like, people are going to spot you. People are going to know who you are. It's like somebody said they thought they saw him, like, begging somewhere in the place out in the Carolinas, wasn't it? In Florida somewhere. Like, roadside begging. Tim getting all upset. I got to stop the video. Dare those landscapers come out. Tim, I understand. I have landscapers all summer. Once the summertime hit here, the landscapers are constantly going in my neighborhood. What I pay for.
Looking at that blower. All right. So here's what I'm looking at as the sun comes up over here.
Now, have you never seen this?
Looking east there. Rise in the
That's
east.
why
That's in
Tim's
the west.
showing them.
Check out these here with the slides on.
He's just like,
Pretty cool, huh? Well, we got more blowers over here.
oh
These got
my
some Suzukis on
goodness. Oh my goodness, Tim. I'm gonna have to give you something.
I can't even get erect.
Because you're just getting on a tangent over here.
Pretty fancy looking pontoon boats here. All rentals, all part of the club. Or these are actually, may not be part of the Freedom Boat Club.
Yes,
These may
it
be
is Tim's will.
the
We
daily
just
rentals.
live in it. Absolutely.
from that little office right on this end. There's a couple of them, but he's well established. He's been there for many years, so I wouldn't expect he would be the absolute cheapest either. It is what it is, you know. You can go to other places. I think down down on Clark Road. I rented one down there once. They had a pretty good price.
It's just, he's so upset. Anytime he tried to look like he was chill with the guy coming blast with the music the other day. And I wonder, and he wasn't. I wonder if Tim knows Palm Beach Pete. Has anybody heard of the character Palm Beach Pete that supposedly looks like Jeffrey Epstein? And all these people are going crazy on the internet because of Palm Beach Pete. Maybe we should talk about Palm Beach Pete tomorrow.
You go past Clark down US 41, and that's the water's right there. And then we're still, there's a lot of rentals in here. They never came all the way out this far before. So business must be booming. Let's walk over here. It's a little chilly out here. Thank goodness I got my long sleeve on. It's amazing how the weather is. I don't recall Florida being so comfortable in the morning. It's not all that comfortable at night. It takes all the way till almost sunrise before you feel this. But when you go in at night after the sun goes down and you wake up at 2 a.m, it's still pretty warm.
The interesting things were probably those art exhibit pieces behind you, Tim, that you strolled past. Well, I know I haven't sped up. But he didn't even observe those. Just points to boats and stuff. Points to stuff he wishes he could have.
Look at this. What's going on over here?
It's a fountain, some dude hanging out. That's what it is, Tim. I mean, can we please with the content? It's probably got some ridiculous number of views on this video. I mean, comparatively, you know, I mean, my channel's been stranglehold. I was doing pretty good with my content. And then Tim came in and hit my channel with numerous strikes. And it doesn't do well for you in the algorithm. So I appreciate you guys, because it's taken me a while to come just, oh my gosh, because Tim, just quality content that we all copy from him. Making commentary, Tim. I'm trying to let you know what's going on there. It's a fountain and some dude sitting there.
Today, this afternoon, the kids will love that. Oh, just shutting it down. I guess the guy was testing it out for the kids.
I don't know. Why don't you go ask him?
This is a new, like a water park. The kids love it. A little play area here.
That's kind of nice. Shame you don't take your grandkids over there. Oh, your grandkids are grown up now. That's right.
Well, those blowers. Well, anyway, that's a little tour. I'll make another video, and we'll try to have us a conversation about a particular thing. But right now, I'm going to head over here, close this one out, and crush the next one.
Oh, and we didn't see anything after that from Tim. Over 2,000 views on that amazing content. 19 comments. ST, my favorite place to visit. We'll be there in 6 weeks. That's crushing it. People need blowers, Tim, to do the job. LOL, even if it's annoying to you. LOL, crush it. They wanted to know, were you able to see anything related to the launch of the Ultimus? It says, this person says, I love the sound of blowers. Means you're not doing the yard work. I can't wait to hear them again one day. Arthur wants to know, what's his opinion on Chinese motorhomes? I don't know if Tim has an opinion. Has to be better than his. Okay, so that was the only video that Tim gave us today. Let me check the shorts. Nothing in the shorts. Last one we saw, we got that Walmart one. He was back in church. These don't make any money. This will kill your channel, Tim. 1.1 here. It's crushing those steps. I don't think like the content talking about steps. I mean, I did look at this one. Look at this. Shirtless Tim over. I mean, come on. Who wants to see this?
All right, everybody, we've reached the end of the line here. 3,150 steps from where I'm parked.
Why do we need to see Tim shirtless burning himself on a short? What is that for? This is terrible.
At Bradenton Beach at the other end.
He really thinks he's all that in a bag of chips.
This is the Longboat Bridge.
I mean, he's absolutely looks like he's burning his skin here. Your eyes are burning. Just if you happen to miss the refrigerator and you wanted to see the real top of it. Why?
And the pass that I was talking about. And you can see there's a paved path that you can walk. It circles around right there.
Wow. Describe the obvious. And I've got a kitchen door behind me. And no, that's not a picture of Sarasota Tim on my refrigerator. I don't know why anybody thought that was a picture of Sarasota Tim on my refrigerator.
And goes all the way back down, all the way to where my truck is. But I've walked down along the road here to kind of stay in the sun to get a little color. Now I'm going to work on my back and have the back towards the sun and walk back to my.
Oh, look at the sunburn on him. What is he thinking he's doing? It's a palm tree. Anytime you see anybody out frying themselves like that, you're like, why are they doing that to their skin? I don't know why he is in the delusion that this makes him look healthy and attractive. I think it stems back from the idea that, there was a time that having a suntan was not considered a status symbol because it meant that it looked like you worked outside. And if you had money, you weren't going to have a suntan because you were not outside working. So being pale was the status symbol. And then when people began working and having jobs where they weren't working outside, suddenly having a suntan, because that would show that you went on vacation or had access to leisure time, would enable you to look like you were well-to-do. And I think Tim is still of that mindset that the leisure time look. He's got this, I know, he's trying to hide his, but I don't know why. He says he does 1,000 push-ups a day. You would think those pecs would be firm.
Truck. So beautiful day. People are everywhere. Every inch of the beach, someone is. People are coming down the hill over here. Really nice. It is 10:55, almost 11 a.m. here at Coquina Beach. And I would what you call people are crushing it.
So burnt on his shoulders. I don't know that whatever this shade is on here, makes him look so bad. Oh gosh. I can't believe he released that. How? Why? Why would somebody? I mean, come on. Is there not an age where you just give yourself some dignity? You've never seen one of his videos? You've seen one of his videos. You can't drive too far. He's broken gas. Well, I don't know. He just bought a whole entire wardrobe at Walmart. He's not that broke. All right. Thank you, guys. Let's finish the poll. Like I said, this was a quick one this evening. Oh, my nose is dry from all my allergies. What happened to my poll? I thought I ended here it is. What generation do you fall into? So we have 56% were baby boomers. 27% came in as Generation X. 13% Generation Jones. And 4% millennials. Well, thank you, millennials, for joining us. I really appreciate that. And if I did miss out a generation, pop it in the chat below. I doubt it. It would be older than younger. I don't think I'm going to get a Gen Z or a Gen Alpha on here. But I don't know why. They're missing the hottest content on YouTube at the moment. Watching old Timmy's man boobs out for everybody to see. I mean, why? Why are we getting Timmy's man boobs out here? The wardrobe was $23. Well, that's more than I get to spend. Promise you. I don't get to spend $23 on a wardrobe. I got $23 on dog treats. Why are you looking at me like that, Junebug? My dog was giving me a really funny look. I got mad. One of them kind of messed up one of my chairs today. They obviously got up to something, and when I was gone at work, and they try to put pillows on there so they won't sit on that my one nice chair. They ruined my one nice chair today. Like the one that's not supposed to allow the animals to go near. Well, they managed to get hold of that thing. And they just don't care. I just sit here laughing because I see June trying to do a number on my couch. That was all chair fun. Thank you, Thomas. You're so funny. I appreciate that. I need to put something on the chair. I mean, I'm really like down. You know, I tried to like cover them with the dog blankets. So I have this one like nice. It was a nice little Tommy Hilfiger blanket. I mean, it was getting older, but it was nice. It was like one specifically for dogs. It had cute little dog paw prints on it and stuff. And the other day, those dogs were like tearing that thing up on the floor. I'm just like, oh my God. Having two of them in the house, it's been a trip. Because Junebug was nothing ever got. I was always like so happy because everything was kept so nice with Junebug. But ever since Junebug's had a partner in crime in the house, and they're not bad dogs, but they just, I mean, they can get rough with stuff. I think that's it. They just like bounce around the furniture when I'm not here. And I guess one of them did something and they ripped like the fabric of the chair with their nail, I guess. Oh my gosh. Junebug's like, no more Tim boobs. Yeah, okay.
Hey, how's it
No more Tim boobs. So Tim's got nothing else going on, guys. That was it. That's all he's had today is that one video. I guess he's busy either getting the lights. He said he was getting some stuff from Amazon. So maybe he ended up over at the Amazon. I mean, he's not even put out an evening chat. I thought we would have gotten a charred steak on the Weber Q1200. And we didn't even get a charred steak. I just feel like that was a really sad start to Sarasota Tim's, April Fool. Maybe that was the April Fool. Maybe that was the fool that, that he told his audience that he was going to be having, how many, like multiple videos. And then he just lied to them. Was that the April Fool's Day? That was an April Fool's Day. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm thinking. That was the fool that he lied to his audience about coming out with more content for the day. I think he's getting, I don't know what he's doing. You think he's going to pop up in Georgia for Easter? I want to know why he's wearing the long sleeve shirt suddenly. I want to know why we've got why we have real estate Tim, preppy Tim, because now he's trying to look like a Florida businessman with the sort of long sleeve shirt, the button shirt, and the shorts. It's like that preppy look. Like I said, I used to date a guy who dressed like that. Yeah, and he had money, not like Tim. This guy, he seriously had money. Tim don't have any money. Every day is April Fool's Day for him. I was surprised. Where's Tammy? We haven't seen or heard from Tammy since Tammy bought the condo. But then Tammy supposedly left a message. Supposedly, I covered it on this channel, saying that she was living in North Carolina. But that's why it seemed odd, because we've shown receipts that she purchased a condo down in Florida. Unless she purchased it and rents it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know Tammy's business like that. But I think she's gone. I think he got upset when she got the condo, because I don't think it's his JFK Jr. look. It's definitely sort of like a coastal businessman look. It's definitely, or just like that. It's a preppy look. Tim has suddenly gone like super, like this. And we have no understanding other than, I guess he's trying to say it's for church, but you're not going to church every day. I mean, before he was like all about his little t-shirts and stuff. And then suddenly, just out of nowhere, he was like long sleeve shirts and trying to look like Mr. Preppy. So I think he's trying to look, he's calling short for well, I don't think the judge watching his videos, but that might be why. He can't bring the cell phone. He's going to die. He's going to die when he realizes you can't bring a phone into a court in Virginia. That's going to be the end of Timmy. He's going to have to leave it somewhere behind. Flathead Timmy say it really is. And dressing like getting ready for court. Well, like I said, you know, maybe he's trying to look serious, like a serious businessman with a serious channel. I mean, he didn't even do his Jesus talk in that video. Did you notice? Like, he usually by then would be talking about getting down on his knees and having prayed and asked God for this, that, and the other. He didn't do anything like that. He just walked around, talks about his steps, which is, you know, really? You know, are you a doctor explaining how that's beneficial to people? No. So therefore, it's just your vanity content. And why would anybody else be interested in your vanity content? We only watch it to laugh about it and try to figure out why there are so many people out there. Like I said, I used to go out and do steps, I have to say. But that was because I was a healthcare professional and I would only feature Junebug. I featured my dog. If you check my early shorts out, lots of videos set to music with Junebug getting out, doing steps and encouraging people to walk and be healthy. So I have done that. But I'm a healthcare professional. It's in my line of work. Tim just trying to figure out what's going to be his, you know, next thing that he can hook himself up to try to peddle to his audience. All right, guys. I've kept you long enough with this, the nonsense that these people are putting out. He said some insensitive things. Oh, yeah. I mean, unless Tammy is just, you know, set up to be like, I mean, she may know Tim, but they might have finally, because I think they've been, you know, having some type of knowing each other for an extended period of time. And it might have been that it finally ran its course after 20 some years or whatever. They've been shenaniganing around because from what I could see, he was staying at their the home of Dwayne and Tammy. It seemed around the time that maybe he divorced his third wife and ended up staying over with them when his wife split up with him. Because at some point he lived at that Buccaneers Road or whatever that address was that was Dwayne's and Tammy's house that Tammy sold when Dwayne passed away. But Tammy and Tim had been living in an apartment together at 2017 up until 2021. So they lived together for an extended period of time. So Tim and Tammy have already lived together. And for whatever reason, in 21, right after Tim got his EIDL, he ended up over at Teddy's. Now, whether Tammy went over to her kid, I don't know. But for whatever reason, they're living together, and they had been living together for an extended period of time, few years, that came to an end. So it's not as if these two have not lived together in the past and for time. So maybe their relationship had already been on the outs a little bit. And maybe Tammy, when she saw that Tim was actually making money from his channel, decided to come and help him with it, because we suddenly got Tammy appearing in his videos once the Social Security, remember? Once the Social Security took off and he was getting a lot of action to his channel, suddenly Miss Tammy appeared. Now, what was happening with him and Tammy at the time, I don't know. But I just remember she just showed up out of nowhere. And he was talking about Miss Tammy and this, that, and his wife and his girlfriend and this, that, and the other. And she was doing his comment section. And she went off traveling with him. And then, it came to light that Tammy was a married woman, and the rest is history. He said the landlord lays the rent, and that's why they left the apartment. She moved their daughters. He was a Ted. Okay. So that's what happened. Okay. You mean they had to pay rent after the pandemic? And that's so funny because, obviously now the two of them are in a different financial situation where that rent probably wouldn't be so terrible. But at the time, I don't think they were. He leaves when the rent is due. Yeah, he leaves when the rent is due. Oh my gosh. So that wasn't, so maybe Tammy definitely isn't somebody, she realizes that, Tim's a fair weather sort of guy, wherever I lay my hat sort of man. And were things to change financially that she could be holding the bag on something. I wouldn't want to commit to a relationship with somebody with that. They were meant to be together. They would have stayed together. They would have found a place less expensive rather than going their separate ways. Probably ran the race together. Well, see, it seems interesting that their money was always separate. Yeah. Well, I have family who married. They keep money separate still. But it's interesting that they didn't want to continue to find somewhere less expensive to move in together, that they just decided to go their separate ways. Sister was making the word. Yeah, I'm a real sister. That would be Catholic, wouldn't it? I'm not Catholic, sweetheart. Tim had a perfect setup. I forget. That's a Southern Baptist thing too. I should know better. I have Southern Baptists in my family. Tim had the perfect setup at Teddy's and screwed that up because of his ego. Well, I think Tim got it reported over there too. If he hadn't moved into the teardrop, I think he was violating some ordinances out in that area. And I think the people didn't want that happening because it's a very expensive area. So, when you got $1 million homes, you might not want to think that somebody's out there living in a teardrop camper. Do you think Timmy had a permit to peddle coupons door to door? I've never seen him I've never seen that he had an active business license. Not to say he hadn't, but I've just never seen that happen. Brother JJ, brother Tim. Okay, so that's Southern Baptist talk. That's Southern Baptist talk. Is Cougar Sands? I guess so. We missed Cougar Sands. Cougar Sands finally said, I'm out. I can't defend Tim anymore. Cougar Sands finally checked out. And then we lost them. That was it. Once they realized that Tim was just an absolute charlatan and could no longer even make up stuff about Timmy being a good guy, they finally just said, I'm out. They did. They finally went. They went. That's Igor. Bye, brother. I know all the brother stuff. All right, guys. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Rose Melvis, for being a member for a long time. And thank you for the chair fund. I'm gonna get some thread and some needles and fix it up too. It's for them to ruin it again. Oh my gosh, I can't believe my dogs ripped up my chair. I guess that's what you get when you got big. And Roscoe's getting really big. I need to try to show him on camera. Roscoe is getting to be a big dog. I mean, he was having a good time running around yesterday. He is getting to be a big dog. I mean, I thought Junebug was a good sized dog, and Roscoe is a bigger dog than he is. You love me, sister. Okay. All right. That's never been said by somebody who's a Southern Baptist. My Southern Baptist family won't talk to me. They won't talk to me. I promise you. I let one of them know that I thought that the historical accuracy of Jesus was not there in their pictures on the wall, and that Jesus could not be a blonde hair, blue-eyed man. that coming from the part of the globe that he did, that would not be accurate. And they got very upset with me. But I mean, I was just putting facts out. I mean, I'm a Christian too. I do believe Jesus was a real man. But I don't think he was blonde hair and blue eyed. That's okay. I just don't think that was his coloring. Yeah, easy. I know. Who knows? It could be interesting. Not the lazy chair of choir boy. Not the lazy. Yes. Yes. Yes, that's the one they ruined. It's the only chair they were not supposed to be on. And I had cushions on it to try to stop them from getting on it. Obviously, it's not going to stop two pit bulls from just knocking stuff to the floor. And I guess Roscoe likes to like jump from chair to chair. He just, and my neighbors told me the other day, they're like, oh, he barks a lot when I'm gone. I'm like, oh, God. Wonderful. All right, guys, hit the likes on the way out if you haven't. I appreciate you. And I have to only say for myself.
2 hours later.
It was almost 2 hours. So I really appreciate you guys for sticking with me. And for that, you do deserve a massive, massive round of applause. And I appreciate you guys hanging in there. And we'll see you on the next one. Happy April 1st, everybody. Don't be a fool.
Life and Vibe, thanks so much. My queen, my Sarasota Tim expert.